What's going on, guys? Welcome to day 6. Today I'm rocking my Yahweh tee. You can pick yours up at threadsthattestify.com. Let's get into this. Today I want to touch on the importance of preparedness and being ready to tackle any opportunity and any obstacle that might stand in your way in your life, in your spiritual walk, in your relationships. Whatever it is, this principle applies to everything. I have one verse for you, and that is coming from Matthew 25 verses 1 through 13. I am reading out of the New Living Translation today. And this is Jesus speaking. He often taught in parables so that people could better understand what he was teaching. He always used parallels and illustrations and symbolism. And it's kind of funny because a lot of people still didn't get it because I guess they're dense. But this is the parable of the 10 bridesmaids. And it's probably one of the best verses speaking on preparedness. Matthew 25, verse 1. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 bridesmaids who took their lamps and went to meet with the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The 5 who were foolish didn't take enough olive oil for their lamps, but the other 5 were wise enough to take along extra oil. When the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight, they were aroused by the shout, "Look, the bridegroom is coming. Come out and meet him." All the bridesmaids got up and prepared their lamps. Then the 5 foolish ones asked the others, "Please, give us some of your oil because our lamps are going out." But the others replied, "We don't have enough for all of us. Go to a shop and buy some for yourselves." But while they were gone to buy oil, the bridegroom came. Then those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was locked. Later, when the other 5 bridesmaids returned, they stood outside calling, "Lord, Lord, open the door for us." But he called back, "Believe me, I do not know you. So you too must keep watch, for you do not know the day or hour of my return." Now, in this parable, Jesus is very clearly speaking on the importance of not losing sight of what time it is, what hour it is, what age it is in the whole dispensation of time, right? He is speaking on the church as a whole, believers being aware of his soon return. Obviously, this is before he even leaves, but he's saying, hey, people are going to lose sight of time. They're going to lose track of time and forget about me and forget about what was prophesied would happen, and they won't be prepared when I come back, when I return, right? And if you skip ahead a few verses, I won't get into it, but chapter 28 in Matthew, starting at verse 16, is the Great Commission. This is where Christ says, "Go into all the world, preaching my name and getting people saved, and then baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, train them up, disciple them, and then send them out." That's what he's speaking on. His entire earthly ministry is teaching people who he is and preparing them to carry out the work of the Lord. The most important thing is us being prepared for his return. And in order to do that, we need to get other people saved and baptize them and train them up, teach them in the things of God, right? So obviously that is the parable that is talking about people not being prepared. But as I said, this really applies to your entire life. So a lot of people, they miss opportunities and they fail to overcome obstacles because they are not prepared. Let's touch on that. First of all, you have different obstacles in your life. A lot of obstacles are made worse or made bigger because people are unprepared. There are things that you know are going to come up or can happen. Or, okay, so for example, you have to pay taxes every year, right? You know that's coming up. But then people don't pay their taxes because they're not prepared. They don't look ahead. They don't plan ahead. They don't keep track of their receipts and their paperwork and their W-2s whenever they get those back, right? And then it becomes a problem. Same with same with companies that repossess your car if you're leasing or whatever, right? You know that's going to be a problem. So an obstacle will become bigger if you are unprepared and if you mismanage your time, mismanage your resources. But I want to touch on opportunity because for me, I see that as the positive side of preparedness. The most exciting thing about being prepared, which it might sound boring or stupid or mundane, but being prepared opens new opportunities and new doors to you. That is what is going to allow you to excel and achieve higher levels in every aspect: relationships, career, obviously with your spiritual walk. Let's touch on relationships. So I know of people who are single, they're longing for a spouse, they're longing for a mate. But then you look and it's like they're not prepared at all, at all, at all. Even as far as hygiene, cleanliness, having a better job. I understand sometimes people start at whatever job or they could only manage certain things. But, you know, how, okay, example, you could literally be driving down the street and they would hear the voice of God himself. God could appear, Jesus could appear before them in a vision, and they hear the voice of God. That girl over there, that blonde, yes, the attractive one with the tall legs and the blue eyes, she is the one that I have chosen to be your spouse. You will marry her and take her to wherever, right? That could happen to these people, and they literally could not pick the girl up because their car smells like cat urine. It has McDonald's on the front seat. It has their dirty gym shorts on the back seat. You've seen these people, and I'm not naming names. I mean, I'm not even saying that I know people personally, but you've seen these cars walking through the parking lot. I know you have, because I've seen tons of them. They have a drink in every cup holder, which obviously wasn't from that day. It's been in there for days, maybe a week. They have trash on the front seat, trash on the dash, trash on the back seat. Where would you even put the girl? You know what I mean? Like, even if God himself came down and was like, hey, that's the one that I want you to marry, that's supposed to be your wife. What, would you just throw all the trash outside? Like, and what? Where would you put her? Nowhere. You need to be prepared. Same is true for careers or for jobs. You might have a job that is temporary or a stepping stone, but you could still show up and show people that you are prepared and you're ready for more. The biggest reason that people miss promotions is because they are unprepared. They currently only ever think of the level that they are currently at instead of the next level or the next tier that they are trying to achieve, right? I saw this firsthand in the military, and one thing that they teach you is always be prepared for being promoted, because people leave, people, move to a different section. They might PCS or have a permanent move out of the state somewhere else. They might deploy, they might get kicked out, they might just separate or retire. There's always opportunity to be promoted. But when you are going to be promoted, first of all, they look at who is available, right? There are some basic requirements. You need time in service and time in grade. That is a given time in the military overall, and you also need a minimum amount of time in that specific rank before you become eligible for promotion. But once you're eligible, you're eligible. There's nothing else holding you back, really. So as long as you're prepared for that opportunity, you'll probably get it. Leadership looks for people who are hungry, people who excel, people who will step up and are ready for more responsibility. And you could show that by taking certain classes, whether it's college courses or even training classes or volunteer opportunities or whatever it is. When I was an A1C, I was an E3. I had 2 stripes on my sleeve. We had ABUs back then. I had 2 stripes, but I was in there in training for how to write reports, how to write EPRs on people, which was basically a task that was at least 1, if not 2, pay grades higher than me. But me being there, I actually garnered the respect of the E8s and the E9 that was there giving the course on how to do this stuff, because when they saw me, they knew I didn't have to be there. I chose to be there. I wanted to be there. I was hungry. And they looked at me like, oh, okay, you're serious. You want to learn. You want to achieve. You want to excel. Ultimately, it really didn't make a big difference for me because I didn't get promoted. I actually ended up transitioning to the Air National Guard, and that's a whole different system. But through that showed them that I was serious, right? I was taking that step to be prepared. Another thing that they teach you in the military is to always have at least 1 uniform ready to go with your next rank on it. So once you become eligible, have 1 uniform, your blues or in your ABUs, your camos, whatever, your OCPs these days, have that ready to go with your next rank on it. Because what I've seen happen on multiple occasions, unfortunately, was people would wait until the last minute. They either wouldn't know that they were going to get promoted for whatever reason, or they would know that it's coming up and they just put it off, put it off, put it off. And then they would have to go to alterations to have their rank sewn on, and alterations would be backed up. It would be a holiday, they would be closed, or it would, the ceremony or whatever it was would happen earlier than when they actually opened and their uniform wouldn't be ready. So if you get promoted to tech sergeant, but you still have your staff sergeant rank on, what are you even doing? You know what I mean? You look like an idiot, and it shows that you're really not ready for that responsibility. And I have seen some people lose their rank. Like it got delayed for when they could actually sew on because they were not prepared. So the biggest reason, like I said, the biggest reason that people miss opportunity is not being prepared. In most cases, you already have some idea of what is going to be required of you in whatever new circumstance there is. So you could always be training for that, learning more about it, studying, getting yourself ready. Whatever it is, you could always be striving for more and preparing yourself for more. A perfect example of this is I applied to Bible school a couple weeks ago, and I haven't heard back yet, but I am still getting prepared for that. I happen to have some of the books that I know I'm going to be required because I love reading anyhow. So here I have Exploits in Ministry by David Oyedepo, and I also have Believer's Authority by Kenneth Hagin. The Believer's Authority book I also have online in my bookstore at threadstotestify.com. Highly recommend both books, but this book is life-changing. This is basically how to operate in the power of God and understanding the authority that you were given by Christ as a believer. That is not today's message, but that is a powerful one. So I already picked up these books. I already have them, so I'm studying them. I have my passport here. This is my old passport. It needs renewed because I got this as a teenager, so it is expired. But I have my passport here, and I have my paperwork that is going to be turned in very soon so that I'm already ahead of the game, right? I know I'm going to need a passport. I know I'm going to want to travel overseas, or at least have the opportunity to travel overseas. Guess what? I need to have a passport. It was the same way in the military. Having a passport, having everything squared away so at the drop of a hat, you're ready to go. In 2013, Nelson Mandela had passed away, right? And I was on part of a team that was sent to another part of the world. I'm not going to say where, but it was in support of the president going to visit Nelson Mandela whenever he passed and being part of that ceremony. When that happened, I got a heads up literally like a day or two before. Hey, we're going to be going soon. I can't tell you anything. We don't have all the details, but pack your bags and be ready to go. And that's the military in a nutshell. Have your bags ready to go. You're always ready, right? Had I not been prepared, they wouldn't even have called me on that task. And if I even knew I was prepared, but I got time, I'll wait, whatever, I wouldn't have gone. It would have shown up that I wasn't ready. They'll pull other people. They do that all the time for deployments or for TDYs, whatever it is. You miss that opportunity because you are not prepared. So that's my message for today. Always be prepared. Never let an obstacle come up and ruin your life because you were unprepared, first of all. Second of all, the positive side of that is you will have so many good, amazing opportunities in your life, in relationships, in everything. Overall, if you keep yourself prepared and you're always striving to be prepared and you're always ready to go at a moment's notice, whether you are in the ministry and you want to be an evangelist, be ready to roll anytime that you could get a call or whatever. Hey, can you come speak at my church? Hey, can you speak at this youth event? Yep, I'm ready. Here I go. You need to be prepared for everything. If you're not prepared, you're going to miss so many opportunities. And that is the reason that so many people never attain a higher level. They never go to the next step. It kills their whole ministry. It kills their career. It kills their relationships. So that's what I have for you today. I love Matthew 25 because that parable is so good. Everybody was there ready to go, but certain people were less prepared than others, and they missed out. And you notice that the whole parable is be prepared, right? Because I feel like in American society, and especially in the church today, we've allowed a different type of doctrine to come into the church aside from what's true in God's word. It's total opposite of that, because in most churches today, we would be taught, oh, we should share our oil. That's what God wants. We should share our oil. They're less fortunate. Now, I'm all for feeding the hungry and clothing the naked and helping the poor, 100%. But there is a very real importance to being prepared. And here it's talking about being prepared. The people who were unprepared lost out. You know what I mean? It wasn't, oh, the Lord is so understanding and he let them in. No, that's what a lot of people think today because they don't actually know their word. They don't crack open the Bible and read it for themselves. But no, you will miss opportunities if you are not prepared. So that's what I have for you. I hope you guys learned something. I'm very excited to show you what I have tomorrow, but that will have to wait till tomorrow. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, whatever, drop it in the comments down below. Be sure to share this video on all social medias at T3 Mike Lee everywhere, but primarily for these videos, I am on YouTube. So with that being said, I love you guys and I'll catch you in the next one.